Is a dedicated cloud really a cloud? Today we're going to talk about operational strength. This is the second of a four-part series that I'm doing on is a dedicated cloud really a cloud? And we talked about automation beforehand in video number 1, so please view that if you haven't viewed that. It's available on this channel. And today we're going to talk about operations or operational strength. So let's go ahead and get started here. Of course, read the comic there that I downloaded off of Google. So whoever authored this, great job. Of course, this illustrates the challenges in most IT environments, right? The guy's got a red chute on, but just to find out that the red bag actually are his sandwiches and not the chute itself. And so he's going to be in for a little surprise when he gets to where he needs to pull his chute. And a lot of times in our IT environments, especially in our legacy environments, our application of operational components within our environment, like change, configuration, release, management, the ITIL type of processes, is inconsistent from year to year or across the multiple services. Of course, a service being defined as compute resources, people, things of that nature, is inconsistent. And so, do we need to require this? Absolutely. We should have a solid ITIL practice that is managing our entire portfolio of services that we offer to consumers of ours, whether it's in our agency or an organization or our company. It does not matter. We need to provide this consistency. And cloud, whether it is dedicated or multi-tenant, it really doesn't matter. If it complies to a set of rules, a regulation, a standard that requires this, you're going to get the consistency across the board. And we're going to talk about what that standard is here at the end, because I'll just keep repeating it on each one of these bullets. What's the next standard that you absolutely have to require? Test and development. Many of our environments today, especially our legacy environments, we may have somewhat of a test and development environment. We need a test and development environment that is required to operate in our cloud environments. So, do we have that local in a dedicated cloud? Absolutely. Absolutely required. With the complexity of information technology today, the multiple moving parts, kind of the specialty that everybody needs, got to have this, folks. Got to have test and development. HA and DR, so high availability. Demand at a minimum full redundancy in the primary site. At the primary site, demand high availability. That means full redundancy of all components within the environment. The virtual machines within that dedicated cloud need to fail over, as what they call in the industry live migration. The switches need to be dual path. The cards on the servers need to be dual honed. Everything needs to have a redundant path so that you experience no downtime. There's no excuse today for downtime. The technology has advanced. Now, disaster recovery, at minimum, make sure that your data and your virtual environment, right, the server, the virtual machine, is at least replicated to a geographically dispersed site. Something at least 10 kilometers from your location. Got to at least have the data somewhere else. And last but not least, part of our operational strength are the metrics that we get in running an environment. We got to know about capacity when we're getting to capacity, and quite frankly, we need to push all the way up to the limit so that we can maximize our IT investment. It is not acceptable, although seems to be a normal practice within a legacy environment, not to offend anyone. I know lots of folks that are listening to this video are squared away, but a lot of times, more than not, we find servers that are utilized at 20%. Storage that is grossly underutilized. Why? Because in a legacy environment, we don't have that infrastructure, that framework to collect all of that data, to analyze it, make sense out of it, to make it look like something. Now, how we talk about a standard. The standard that I would encourage you to live by in your cloud environments and demand from your customers that whether it is dedicated or multi-tenant, whether you need the FedRAMP, which is a federal certification or not, does not matter, but the FedRAMP certification with 275 plus controls based on NIST 800-53 is a squared away architecture. Now, there is room for improvement, always is, always will be, but this is a great place to start. Whether you want FedRAMP as your certification or not, it does not matter. If you're going to buy a dedicated cloud should have all of the controls and be 100% compliant with a FedRAMP standard. Why? Because you get consistency in your change configuration. You have to have test and dev. You have to have high availability and geographically dispersed data. You have to have management metrics. All of these things are requirements of FedRAMP. So why not require it from your vendor? My suggestion is look for a vendor. I know Dell offers one as a dedicated cloud that is compliant to FedRAMP standards, and you should be good to go.